do you still think like having goggles would be a good idea? Because if we're going to be spending the night here, I may as well use my artisan's blessing and just like make you some like goggles that'll cover your eyes as long as we're walking around.
I would prefer to have the cover for the bag of holding.
Oh, if we're going to sleep tonight, I can do it twice. It's a channel divinity, and I've got 2 now.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like I could just pull my hood over my eyes.
Yeah, but that's way more sus. That's the kind of thing that you can like see from down the street. It's like, oh, look at that shady fuck.
True. I mean, if you have time to make both the cover and the goggles, then...
It's an hour each.
Alright, then yeah, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, and I can like tell stories as long as like the majority of my focus is on the crafting, then I can... Should be alright.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I would greatly appreciate both, so thank you.
Alright. And you gave me that 4 gold for the,
yeah, like I gave you a little bit, I mean, quite a bit extra for the drink, so...
You gave me 4, right?
If memory serves, yeah.
Okay. That should be enough to fuck with a quiver.
Also, just, like, while we're not technically in-game, because I'm considering now buying another PS4 for me. How good, because, like, I much like yourself, I would really like to play Bloodborne again. But, like, I'm struggling to justify the expense of an entire PS4 just for Bloodborne. But
the PS4 has... It is the objective better console, and there are many, many good games. There are many good games. God of War is fantastic. Tomb Raiders are fun, I guess. There's Bloodborne, obviously.
I mean, there's The Last of Us.
Last of Us is also exquisite.
Which I never managed to play all the way through.
It's
like,
so good.
I got as far as throwing a brick at that guy's head. That was the extent of my...
It's definitely something you need to, like you can't
have to
the fuck
play it
around.
alone, right?
Yeah. I can play it with people, but that's because I can like get into it, and you have a very strong sense of fuckery.
Yeah, and I could just punch bugs on the side of the head. So that'll take me out of action for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn is also really good.
I'm sorry, what? You do realize I'm still here?
Oh, I'm well aware.
Oh, just checking.
I mean, does it make a difference?
Probably not, but you know.
See, you and I have reached the point of fuckery where, at least in this group, everyone knows how much I fuck with you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter if you're there or not. Anyway.
You can
By the
tag
way,
her, right?
By the way, I mean, not to make anything awkward, but I found a new housemate, so you need to move out by... What time is it?
7:30 apparently.
I probably should have told you this, like, at least an hour ago, because the new guy's actually late. You were supposed to be gone by 7:30.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, look, like it's cool if you're not packed. I could just sell I could just sell whatever's left, because that's fine.
Wow. Just wow. I just absolutely have no idea how to respond to that. In like, I don't have an answer for it. It's just, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I think the best response would be to stand up from your desk, walk a couple of feet to your door, open the door, look at me for a little while, then turn about 90 degrees, walk down the hallway, open the front door. Actually, no, before you open the front door, take your key off your keychain, leave it on the little table next to the door.
The detail. Taking the key off the keychain is like the proper...
Once you've left the
Now,
key,
see,
open the door, walk out, look back into the house. I'll give you a minute or so to look into the house for the last time before you close the door, knowing full well that it will deadbolt behind you. And I'll give you another minute or so before I release the hounds to look at the door sadly, and then just leave. Honestly, once you've left the front gate, whatever you do beyond then that's your problem.
Now, see, Caleb, don't you miss this? Is he still here?
Oh, he's still here. I just feel like his silence is very telling.
Yeah. You completely miss this, don't you?
I feel like he's not still here. Caleb, are you still here?
No, he obviously is not.
That's a shame.
Yeah. We even included him in the joke and everything. I mean, God.
I know, right?
I'm here. Sorry, I was just in the bathroom. I've got wireless headphones so I could hear all your shit.
Ah, right.
Oh, so you did hear. Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So you miss all of this, don't you?
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, I never had this conversation with Caleb. It's just, you're the problem.
Well, look, I completely agree.
I agree as well. I'm not even there.
Yeah, but like, you've met Wags.
I've got
know.
hummus. Sorry, I'm excited. I thought I ate it all.
Also, Wags, just on the off chance I can genuinely upset you, I still
Highly
haven't-
unlikely. But
No,
go on.
I feel like this will genuinely upset you.
Okay.
I still haven't picked what I want for dinner, so the food isn't even on the way yet.
Oh.
Also, just to give you guys an idea of how it would be, let me just look at Facebook and see when he told me what he wanted.
It's still not even on the way.
He told me what he wanted at 11 past 7.
How long is it? What's the time now? I'm not at my computer.
It is
25
37
minutes.
past 7.
Oh, so it's been half an hour.
Like, when he told me what he wanted, I put it in, and then Wes started saying something interesting, so I went back to D&D. It's just like, his order's sitting here. I've just done that. I haven't even thought about what I want.
10 out of 10, Jacob. 10 out of 10.
What do I want? Caleb, what do I want for dinner?
What do you order? Like, what do you? what place?
Chinese.
Chinese. Ooh, you could go for I don't know. There's quite a lot of variety there.
Well,
you want
let's start with appetizers. Actually,
Dumplings
I'll send
that
you
are light or
I'll send you a
heavy?
link. Because I feel like you know me better than I know myself. So I'm going to send you a link to the place I'm ordering from.
This is just a scam to get him to decide for you.
I'm fine with it.
I feel like it's not even a scam. I'm objectively saying, Caleb, choose my dinner for me.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he just straight up was like, "Hey, do this." Okay.
This is your test. How well do you know me?
I'll just be another 5 minutes wolfing down some food.
All good.
All good.
All good. We're figuring out what I want for dinner.
We, the collective party.
Yeah. It's about, like, I am terrible at choosing food. I have choice paralysis, hardcore. Like, you can ask Wags. We've actually instituted a system where instead of choosing what we want for dinner, we are actually. I'll send you all a link, because like this is what we've been reduced to.
Can you guys hear my munching, by the way?
No.
Awesome.
It's much better than it was before. Like, I'll send you guys a link. Wags and I use this basically every time we order delivery, which is almost every night. But like, we're reduced to this.
What the fuck?
Also, just
The
it's
fucking music.
It's sort of an inside joke, but every name there represents a different nationality of food. It's like Jackie Chan's Chinese, Machiavelli's Italian, and so on. And then, like, we bring that up, and then
What's
we take
Nicolas
it in
Cage?
turns to remove what we don't feel like, and then we just spin the wheel.
What's Nicolas Cage? What the fuck?
American.
Burgers.
It's like
Oh.
burgers.
The music makes this amazing.
So delightful.
It's great, isn't it?
so magical.
Now, Jacob Ramon, well, I'm pretty sure I know how we found
Seriously
this.
not hear that crunching? Like, I'm chewing like loud as fuck.
No,
Crackers.
You've tuned your mic really well.
Wow, that's actually awesome.
And Wegs, to answer your question, I'm pretty sure it was a Vsauce video.
it was a Vsauce video, but was it one from Vsauce himself, or was it one where he's doing the
It might have been Vsauce 2 or 3. I think it was a dong.
Yeah,
Vsauce 3
that's
is
the one, a
best
dong.
Vsauce, and if you disagree, you are wrong.
What's that?
Yeah.
I said Vsauce 3 is the best Vsauce, and there is no other opinion. You are objectively wrong if you think otherwise.
Oh, I mean,
Ooh.
Vsauce 2 is objectively the worst, but I think it's a close call between the original Vsauce and Vsauce 3.
Nah, because Vsauce 3 does way more interesting stuff, and it's presented more. It's like, I don't know, it appeals to me a lot more than the original does.
See, for me, it's a really close call, because like the original Vsauce also does that I find really interesting. And I get, because I have YouTube Red, because I got Google Play Music, so I got YouTube Red for free, so I have access to Minefield. And Minefield is amazing.
I've seen all of
If
Minefield.
you can pirate it, I definitely recommend it.
I've seen it all.
How good is it?
It's pretty good, but it's also not Vsauce 1. It's a different show. Remember with the Truth Serum? It was like, hey, do you like Vsauce or Minefield? Vsauce.
Right. I like how like Michael has progressively gotten weirder and weirder.
He is just a fucking strange human.
Science people in general, man.
Genius and madness are two sides of the same coin.
Also, Caleb, the most pressing question still stands. What do I want for dinner?
Nicolas Cage
I mean,
was
you're
what
just-
I got on the wheel.
Do you want something heavy or
Oh
light?
no, like we've already decided on Chinese, so you're just starving Wags at this point.
You know,
Give
that
me a
really isn't
series of
encouragement.
smaller wheels.
That really isn't encouragement for me to go faster.
I know, but I'm just saying.
It's almost the opposite, in fact.
Can't go wrong with side chicken, in my experience.
That's Thai.
Yeah, I can get it at a Chinese place, so I consider it Chinese.
He has a fair point there. Fusion is a growing kind of food.
I hate it. I walked into a Thai restaurant the other week, and they didn't have a single Thai dish on the menu.
Yeah, that always sucks.
I was like, what kind of fucking Thai restaurant doesn't serve Thai food?
Honestly, I was pretty annoyed at France when like I'd go to-
Annoyed at France in its entirety. Fuck you, France.
Sorry, I was annoyed in France at places in France where I'd
I
go
like
to
the
a
first
restaurant and be like, because I was in the south of France, which is really close to the Italian border, I'd like go to a French restaurant and be like, oh yeah, man, let's get ready for some French food, and then I'd open the menu and like the first section would be like, here are all the different pizzas we have. I'm like,
Oh no.
not okay.
What even is French food? Isn't it just like pests and pastry?
Butter and onion.
Yeah, that's right. The three secret ingredients to French cooking: butter, butter, and more butter.
Yeah, butter, onion, and garlic. That's French food.
Oh, and a little bit of red wine here and there just to throw the scent off.
You know
Also,
it's French.
while
You
I
know
was
it's
in
French red
France-
wine if there's butter in it.
No, see, I learned something while I was in France. Australian wine sucks. Because I've
Yeah.
always been like, man, I just don't like wine. And then I went to France and I was like, well, you know what? When in Rome, fuck it. I'll have some wine. I had to sip. I'm like, that's not wine. This tastes good. What is this?
To be fair,
This
you are
couldn't be
drinking.
wine.
You are drinking wine from the place that has the best wine in the world. So even like mediocre wine there
No,
is
but
like
it was explained
A
to me.
plus.
The reason Australian wine, Australian wine just tastes really strong. And that was always all my problem. Where like I couldn't get into wine because I'd have a sip and just like, like this is way too wine, because the grapes have like way stronger sun on them, and like I have no idea how to describe the difference, but apparently like wine people are just like, these wine have had the sun.
I think that's called tonnage, but I might be thinking of something different.
Yeah, like I have no idea what the technical thing is, but like I don't know. French wine is like, it's a lot more subtle, and like that was a great strength to it. And same with olives. I've always hated olives,
Yeah, me too.
but I went to France and I was like, you know what? When in Rome, like they've served olives, like because like we didn't even ask for olives. It was just like, hey, like while you wait for your food, here's some olives. We're just like, okay, cool. I mean, I was like, okay, cool, that's awesome. But my dad and stepmom were like, oh yeah, cool, the olives have arrived. I'm like, oh, all right. Fuck it, I'll try one. And I was like, wait, that's not an olive. It tastes good. Long story short, Australian food sucks.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, Caleb, you haven't answered my question yet.
I keep asking you if you want something light or heavy.
Light.
Go for something fishy then. Stay to like some kind of.
I'm asking you specifically. I sent you to a link. Like, I sent you a link of the restaurant I'm ordering from.
No, you didn't. You
Check
sent me
your
a fucking. Oh, Facebook. What the fuck? I don't have Facebook open. You think I use Facebook?
Yes.
Well, I expect you to be a normal human being who has a phone at all.
That was your first mistake.
Oh, that's it. That wasn't an attack at you. That was me attacking Weg. So,
Double kill.
Oh.
see,
Oh, they got Mapo tofu. That shit's amazing. That's like really spicy soup with rice noodles
I can't handle
and
tofu.
minced meat and tofu.
I can't do tofu.
Oh, really?
I got really, really, really sick in Indonesia from some dodgy tofu, and now I just can't. Like, as soon as it's in my mouth, I want to throw up. Because like I reckon they soaked the tofu in tap water. Because I got so sick, like I actually thought I was gonna die. Like for 3 days, I was maybe awake for 3 hours, and all of those hours I spent on my hands and knees in the bathtub, gushing violently from both ends.
Yummy.
Like I straight up thought I would die. So my body just rejects tofu.
Well, that was a nice conversation.
That's a shame. Mapo tofu might be like one of my favorite like dishes ever.
Well, pick something else. Otherwise, otherwise I might have to pick my own dinner, which would just suck.
Pork spare ribs are really yummy.
Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
Well,
Aw,
you've
thank
come
you.
back just in time for me to realize that Caleb is a terrible dinner picker.
Those in glass houses.
You know what, Jack? What's your address?
1, 2,
that,
3
like-
Fake Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we should take this outside. But I want you to put in the least possible effort, because like I feel like if I'm going to pick you up and throw you into the sun, I mean, like you should only really have to take one step outside.
I mean,
I am aware that you could probably kick my ass.
I can just like throw myself into the sun, and you can take my word for it, and you don't have to go through the trouble.
Aren't you like a Taekwondo black belt?
I am, but I've never been in a real fight, so I have no idea how well that translates.
From experience, as like I mean, Kung Fu doesn't really have belts, but I got to level 3 out of 7. From experience, very well.
I zoned out.
I'm chucking myself into the sun, apparently.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
Alright. So, as the old man sort of sitting there, and he nods his head a few times, and he just looks at the lot of you and just says, "So, tell me about some of your travels."
Well, there was a giant undersea turtle that was the size of everything that we almost drowned in its blood.
Wait. Thorin. We have to start from the bottom. Otherwise, he won't believe a word we say.
Tobias suddenly groans and rests his head in both hands and says, I just remembered we completely forgot to tell the Adventurers Guild about the Time Loop Town.
Oh, fuck! Wes started losing it immediately. Okay, you know what? Give me your pen.
I hand him a pen.
Alright, I go over to Carlius and write down on Carlius's forehead, Time Loop Town. There we go.
Time what?
The town that your girlfriend was from, we forgot to tell anybody about that horrible thing.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Oh.
We completely dropped the ball on that one.
In the tavern, 3 feet away from the front door, we were talking about telling them about it.
Okay. No,
don't
I was just thinking.
suppose-
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, you go.
I was going to say, I couldn't work out why you were saying Time Loop Town. I'm thinking, what the... I don't remember passing through that. And then it hit, oh, you mean that Time Loop Town. Okay.
What other time did you get in, Carlius?
Aiden
don't
has
know.
absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I'm just being amicable.
Oh, also, Mr. DM,
Yeah, what's up?
Thorin cracks his knuckles, lays out a couple of empty glass vials, a couple of coins of gold, and I'm assuming Longshore gives me his quiver.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've got...
Wait, is this to make the false bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you need it for measurements, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I give you a quiver. I specifically give you a quiver with arrows in it, and I'm just like, make sure there's still room for the arrows, so they don't just fall out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is very important.
I might have to extend it.
That's fine.
Okay,
As
like
long as
add like an entire
it's
fake
modified.
compartment on the bottom of it.
Like, as long as it's not obviously modified to the extent where, say, a customs officer might want to investigate further. Actually, if you take all of my quivers, can you extend all of them so they're all still uniform? So one doesn't stand out?
That's a multi-day project right there.
I mean, we have time, I guess.
I guess. It might not be finished by the time we get back to the Trident though.
We could take the time.
Yeah, okay, fuck it, sure.
I mean, like, it's pretty important that we keep our bag of holding.
That's fair enough. Alright, so I'm going to use a Channel Divinity and cast 1 Artisan's Blessing over the course of the hour, just while we're talking and stuff. I'll occasionally chip in the conversation, but for the most part, I am making Longshore's quiver longer, and the bottom has a false compartment that the bag of holding can live in.
Yeah, that seems fine to me. I don't think I have any issue with that.
And I would also like to make him some slightly steampunky looking goggles to cover his gross eyes.
Sorry, is it the metal one I spoke of? Where it's like a metal shell that the thing sits in?
Yeah.
Right, perfect.
I also need to line your entire thing with metal so it doesn't look super out of place. It'll be a very, very thin sheet. It's basically decorative at this point.
I mean, honestly, if you could do that to all my quivers, that'd be awesome.
We'll see it. We'll see. All right,
Like,
so
I
I'm gonna
can
start
give you
with
more money.
Fair enough. I'll start with the first quiver and those steampunky goggles, and I'll say, I'll just say I'm working on this for now. So once an hour is up, I'll be finished.
As a lot of you, as you're doing that, and sorry, did you want to say something?
I was gonna, before we got off topic, the old man asked us what we were doing. I was gonna weave him a tale
Yeah, I was
So
gonna.
he's not just.
I was gonna ask that
waiting.
exact question actually. So I was gonna say, as you're doing the artisan's blessing, you're sort of chiming in every now and again. He just sort of asked the rest of you. So tell me some tales from your travels.
Go, Lorbard, go.
Well, we're originally from L6, Archerton, but things are a bit tumultuous down there, as you've probably heard. So
Yes.
decided to head north to Trident, try and find some work.
Yes. Time of war is a terrible thing.
Thorin not paying attention takes this moment to be like, and then there was a lich.
While we're talking about terrible things, I'd just like to let Wags know I still haven't ordered dinner.
Oh, what?
I got distracted.
So his eyes sort of light up. A lich, you say? Tell me more.
Well, we were passing through the swamp near Archerton down there. We thought it'd be a better route than just on the roads with all the soldiers about. And turns out there was this disgusting lich creature living there. We had a bit of a run-in with that.
How did you make it out of it alive?
Honestly, mostly just sneaking around behind its back.
We didn't do it under our own power. We were saved.
Oh, and by who?
The valiant knights of the Holy See. They came in as things were looking as their bleakest.
Of course, I've heard of the Holy See. They're good people, though some of them are misguided in their distaste for magic.
Agreed. The good ones are great, and the bad ones are awful.
Yes, most definitely. So, what brings you to traveling past these parts?
Oh, sorry, this is a complicated bit, and Thorin buries his head back in his head.
That bullet dodge?
Hey, I'm making hinges and shit, alright?
We were hired to to hunt down a snake, a big snake, in the Forest of Vida. The jerk of a guard in there is the one guiding us there.
His eyes are very squinted, but as soon as you say those words, they start to open up a little bit wider, and everyone immediately sees that his eyes have very heavy set cataracts, like he's very obviously blind. And then he just says to you, "Oh, you're here to hunt the Serpent of Vida."
That makes sense, that we're hunting the Serpent of Vida in the Forest of Vida? Yes. We didn't know it had a name, that fits the bill.
Do you not know the story of the Forest of Vida?
Tobias pulls out a notebook and a pen and says, I have not, but I'd be glad to hear it, if you can...
Well, he leans back a little bit. There used to be 2 estates to the north and south of the road in the forest. The one up north was a village called Spryford. The one to the south was Spreeden. The mayors of each town sort of had a rivalry with one another until one fateful day, the village of Spreeden, the one to the south, Hamilton's son was murdered in cold blood.
Alexander Hamilton. Sorry.
Then he says...
The mayor's son, did you say?
Yes, the mayor's son, Hamilton, is the mayor, and his son was murdered. His son was a boy, but the age of 5 or 6. And a cruel fate lied for the rest of the people in the village when it happened. You see, Hamilton woke up after a long rest, and at the foot of his bed was the head of his son severed. It was a gruesome sight. And before long, Hamilton lost his mind, and he flayed as many villages as he can in search for who was responsible. But as the villages became abandoned, the forest eventually became inhabited by these fairly large spiders and snakes, who have remained there for years. The Serpent of Vida hunts these spiders. As a natural food source, the serpent is huge, yet it does not attack travelers, nor do the spiders. They seem territorial, but they are more focused on... And then he thinks about it for a moment and says, fighting one another. The serpents eat the spiders.
Okay.
Thorin's head slowly lifts at the mention of spiders.
As long as the spiders continue to be eaten by the serpent, they will remain under control. So I ask this of you, to drop your contract and leave the Serpent of Vida well alone.
At this point, I'm going to try and roll. I'm trying to roll insight to see if there's something about this that's not quite right.
Yeah, sure, go nuts.
I'm going to wait for him to do so, but then I'd like to say something after it, like immediately after he does, depending on how this goes.
All right, so Kalius, you're trying to insight this old man, and what are you trying to determine? Whether something's wrong?
Yeah, just something about how he's trying to distract us from going to the serpent, yet there's this huge bounty that's this bounty on its head. I'm just wondering whether there's something that
All right.
the old man's not letting on, or...
I'll help you out here because you asked the right questions, but to the wrong... You focused on the wrong part. With that insight roll, you're able to tell that this man, who has lived here for a good majority of his life,
Yep.
out in the countryside, would most likely know more about the wildlife out here than someone who lives deep within the Trident and offers up bounties for animal parts. Hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, I'll elaborate more.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. So, if I was to ask it a different way, do I feel as though he's worried for our well-being, or is that?
In that case, he's worried for his own village's well-being. Like the words that he said is basically, as long as the serpent remains and is top of the food chain with the spiders in consideration, the spiders won't grow out of control, and his village will remain untouched because his town is fairly close to the Forest of Vida.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Spiders that big aren't natural, surely. That's like a magic phenomenon. I assume. Or am I wrong there?
It is safe to assume this, yes.
Okay. And the story said the spiders and the serpent showed up at about the same time. So...
We'll know if they're not magical if when we walk into the Forest of Vida, we all just get super high from the super high concentration of oxygen. You just walk in, it's like, whoa!
Too much of a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Everything in
just like,
moderation.
so I beseech you to tell the guild to drop this contract and make sure none interfere with the Serpent of Vida. It is
Would it be
named
possible-
such as it sort of acts like a guardian.
Would it be possible
Sorry,
to
just to be
take
clear,
the fangs
is-
without injuring it?
If you were to rip out its fangs, I doubt it would be able to hunt the spiders any further.
Mm.
If you're simply after gold, there are other ways to earn gold without putting the lives of hundreds in jeopardy.
You said...
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Gold. Lives. Let's go for the gold.
The serpent doesn't. Well, you said the spiders and the serpent don't hunt travelers. Is that right?
They've been focusing their attention on each other for many years now. Many caravans have passed through unharmed, though the webs off the beaten path are thick between each and every tree.
Is the serpent like benevolent? Does it go out of its way not to hurt people? Or is it just that it's so focused on the spiders that it doesn't have time to do it?
It's been many years since I've walked through the forest of Vida. But being the way I am, he gestures to his eyes as though he's blind, because he is. I've taken a few strolls in the past and have never come to harm.
Perhaps there's a way to be rid of the infection of spiders once and for all.
There could be, but I know not of how to achieve this.
Do you know if there's a large, I can't think of a right word, nest, hive, something where they come from?
Perhaps somewhere deep in the forest, but I would not know.
Well, this just got more complicated.
Well,
I mean, did it? We took a job.
I don't think we should do anything that'll bring these villagers to harm. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm not against like going in and finding out what's going on, so we can make
Then
a more well-reasoned decision.
Can any of us speak to animals?
No.
I mean, I can just
Ranger.
an animal and yell at it.
everyone sort of hears like this low beat of sort of like a guitar. What's the other word for guitar? Lute playing off in the background inside the house, and you hear like this heavenly voice of a woman who just sings something like fucking.
A banjo.
She's like, amazing, Anil.
That
Right.
was sweet.
Your
Yeah.
shield protecting a girl like me.
Just in all seriousness, to answer the question, I can like form a telepathic bond with an animal that is friendly to me. So like, as long as we give something a carrot or something, I can like mind meld with it.
Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking. We could perhaps talk to the snake.
That is a distinct possibility. Let me just check the rules of my spell.
And the song continues. Shielding us from the demons that roam the land freely. And then the door opens, and standing in the doorway, you see this woman dressed fully in white with a lute sort of on her waist, and she plucks the final strings, ending the song, and you see her blonde hair sort of glistening, looking very peaceful. And then Alaric sort of like turns his head and then says, Aurelia, that was beautiful. Come, take a seat. Meet everyone. And then she steps forward. You see that she's not wearing any shoes. And she just sort of sits down, crosses her legs next to Alaric and looks at a lot of you. He goes, hey, welcome.
Has it been an hour yet?
Yeah,
Okay,
now it
cool.
has,
So
as soon as she comes out.
Okay, so I kind of like sit back, dust my hands off, and I go, all right, I think it should be good. I hand Aiden back his gear, and I've got like the goggles, but there's no like strap, so it's just like two eyepieces that are connected in the middle with like opaque glass.
I set them against my eyes and just hit them as hard as I can so they lodge into my skull.
That's why I asked if you know how to tan leather, because I can't tan leather. So as
As
long
I
as you can
stand
just
there with
make a
one
strap.
bone lodged into my skull, I'm just, yes, I can.
You should
And
probably
I have
do
a
that.
sheet of leather.
Why did you fucking care? Torrin just pinches the bridge of his nose before turning his attention back to the new person.
I may need some healing.
Did he take damage doing that? Fucking
No.
punching a pair of goggles into his skull.
It's just very mildly irritating, and it blurs your vision. And then you hear this heavenly angelic voice, and she just says, "Welcome to the farm."
Hi.
Hey.
And Tobias just like awkwardly trails off.
How are you?
Good, I think, is the general consensus.
That's good.
Really? The social ninja breaks down as soon as someone with boobs turns up?
Well, I hope the cold hasn't gotten to you. She smiles. A grin that's wider than most.
No,
Like in a creepy
I
way
can-
or a warm way?
A warm way.
Okay.
A creepy warm way.
Sending me mixed messages here.
Yeah, no, I've
DM.
like the moment she came out, I had this weird sense of foreboding.
Yeah, I heard loot and immediately thought, what's her name? Creepy
Narcissus.
bard lady. Narcissus, yeah. But
And
no,
how are the
she-
rest of you? The cold hasn't gotten to you, I hope.
It has been chilly, but nothing that we can't handle.
Actually, given all that, I'd like to say something whilst rolling insight, just to settle any discomfort.
Bless you, she says. It is very cold out here.
I just say,
Closer to
Well,
me. Let's huddle.
while tossing out an insight, I'm like,
What was
yeah,
this?
I mean the cold's pretty harsh, but I wish I could find an apple that didn't taste like ass.
And what are you trying to determine with that insight roll?
Just gauging her reaction.
And you said you wish you find an apple that tastes like ass.
Sorry, I wish I could find an apple that didn't taste like ass.
Oh yeah. She just gives you a frown and goes, "Yeah, me too. Kind of wish that they still had their sweet taste. You know, I heard about the farms of Spreeden and Spryford. One of them was a lemon farm, the other an apple farm. It took less than a month for the apple farm to fall under, and they had to sell most of their assets." Alaric chimes in. Yes.
It's Shelbyville!
Yes, it was very unfortunate. But, she goes, luckily for Alaric and his two sons and grandson, they do ale here. It's a lot more sustainable, I suppose. She strums her lute a little bit.
What's this song from? It's bothering me so bad. I can't focus.
Far Cry.
I had a feeling. It's like the Far Cry 3 dream sequence bit, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you rename all of your music triggers the shit out of me, because I can't look it up.
So Spreeden and Spryden, she said.
Mhm.
And Reedon
They
was
were-
the ghost town, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. The names sound similar. Perhaps there's a connection in some way.
She stands upright. Well, Alaric, it was a pleasure meeting you. And he nods. Your voice is angelic, Aurelia. Please visit me again sometime soon. And then she just nods and she steps out into the snow barefoot with lute in hand. She begins to leave the farm.
I mean, I'm relatively satisfied she's not Narcissus. So
There's still something off about her though.
there's something off about everyone we've met.
These guys seem fine. These farmers.
And as she
Yeah, but they're
begins
just
to leave,
farmers.
Agron
Okay.
opens the door with a keg of beer over his shoulder and several mugs in one hand. He comes out and plops it to the floor. And he just drives a wedge into the barrel, and beer starts to spill forth as he fills the mugs and hands it to each and every one of you. And he goes, fresh from the cellar.
What generosity. And I take a sip. How good is it coming straight from the brewery itself?
I don't know how to describe beer, but I do know that this beer tastes great. Which is
Okay,
unusual
cool.
for typical beer, which has that bitterish taste. This one tastes quite sweet actually. And it takes you a few moments of sipping before sort of like the alcohol starts to hit you. So it's very strong, but it doesn't taste like it's strong.
Right. Alright, that's fine. I want to look up at him and be like, I cannot sit by and just take this for free. Such generosity.
It
Must be
warms you
repaid.
up from the core, drives the cold out.
Cool. I say, is there anything I can do to repay you?
He just shrugs and goes, no, not really. I've already finished most of the work on the farm, so, just make yourselves at home and try not to cause a ruckus, I suppose.
Do you have tools that need tending to, perhaps? That is my speciality.
Well, he points over to the side of the, sort of like the ledge that you guys are standing on. There's like a... What was I going to say? There's an axe sort of leaning against one of the posts, and you can see that it's rusted. And he goes, I've been thinking about throwing that away, but... I mean, if you can do something about that, saves me a
for
trip
sure.
to the Trident.
Absolutely. I'll go grab it.
You grab it. And it's basically like a woodcutter's axe, but just fairly rusted and blunted.
Alright. I'll try using my smith tools, and if I fuck it up, I'll use another channel divinity and just magic it to back together.
You can roll your smith tools first.
What's the attribute that I'm using for it, by the way? Because it's
That is a
been
good question.
it's been back and forth between strength and wisdom, depending on.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say wisdom for now.
Alrighty.
Just to see if you're wise enough to know how to treat rust without breaking the weapon itself.
Can I guidance myself for this? just
Yes,
to
you
make
can.
Sure? Cool. Cast a guidance better than 0.
Not
Oh,
really.
I fucking nailed it.
Your years of experience makes this trivial, and you restore the axe before his very eyes. His eyes light up and go, oh wow. Well,
I like hold the head up with the handle going like under my armpit, and I blow off the top, and then I just test the edge, and I'm like, all right, that should be sharper than the finest blades of the army.
he raises both eyebrows. I don't suppose I owe you anything.
Perhaps another drink.
Well, that I can do. He pours another ale for you.
Good man.
And you sort of like exchange. He gives you the mug of ale, you give him the axe, and he takes it away.
Cool. I do like an air cheers and dig in, I guess.
So everyone sort of starts to drink their ale, and then Alaric's still sitting there. And he's just like, so, will ye heed my warning? Well, will ye heed my request and leave the Serpent of Vida alone?
We won't. We'll look into it, and we won't kill it if it's going to put your community in danger.
Then
I sort of come up behind Tobias, like, we'll reserve judgment.
you
Alright,
hear
I second that. Reserve judgment.
you hear a slightly lower voice.
We'll reserve judgment, but we won't deliberately fuck you over.
You hear a slightly lower voice as the door opens again, and this time it's the grandfather's actual son. He's like 40-something years old, fairly old, with like greyish hairs, and he comes out with a mug of ale in hand, and he goes, actually, I suppose you don't want to just drop the contract and go right back to the Trident empty-handed. That wouldn't look good for you lots. So I propose a counteroffer.
What's
I'm
that?
listening.
Shoot.
I would like you to find out who is after the Serpent of Vida and what he plans to do with, I guess, killing it.
There was no
Not to be
instruction to
rude.
kill it.
Sorry, not to be rude, but that almost seems directly antithetical to our commitment to the Adventurers Guild. Usually this kind of contract is anonymous. At least for the frontmen.
He just says, no. I've heard of people signing contracts in the past. And the bounties. Otherwise you wouldn't know who gave you your bounty.
It was on there, right? What
Yeah,
was
it was
that?
at the bottom.
Divulging that information seems a little bit.
And he just shrugs and says, oh, I couldn't care less about the actual person. I just want to find out the purpose. See, this serpent's been here for years, and no one in the past has ever wanted it gone. It hasn't bothered any travelers. It hasn't bothered the villagers. It's, on the contrary, kept us quite safe from the spiders. Every now and again, a stray spider might come onto the farm, but as long as we lay low, it tends to go away.
Well, I mean, we can do both. Find out what's happening with the serpent and the spiders, and find out why, what's his name, wants serpent teeth.
He shrugs a little bit and says, I mean, obviously, if you can get rid of the source of the spiders, that's fantastic. But until you know how, I would prefer if you didn't touch the spider. If you didn't touch the serpent.
What was the name of the guy that the contract was for? Again?
Fuck if I know. Nah, it's Velimo, the alchemist.
That's right.
Okay, Velimo.
I'll type it out for you.
Actually, Carlius would know about a lot of things that were assassin related. So I'm just curious, is it possible that the request for the teeth is not so much for the serpent itself, but more for the venom?
You can give me a history roll first.
Yep.
Just to see how much I should divulge to you. Because you probably would know this stuff anyway. Oh, well, there you go. Well, in that case, you know that...
Oh, damn.
The
Big boy roll.
The people of your organization, they tend to make these mixtures out of plants from all over the country. Just to have various different effects, because just a little tiny change in an ingredient will change the effects, the length or duration, poisons, etc., etc. It's actually fairly rare to extract venom from actual creatures for this purpose. Also, with that history roll, you know that in all your time of being in the Trident and working for various people, as well as listening to announcements and all the things that go on, you have never heard of Velimo the Alchemist.
Ah. Right. Do I know of any other alchemists that might have been in the area?
Yes, you do know that there are actual alchemists that you've visited in the past, maybe to buy some flowers for wounds or whatnot.
Yeah.
The one that comes to your mind with that would be Laura Halsbury.
Laura, okay.
Yeah, she penned a lot of alchemy books,
Oh, okay. And I didn't see her when we were in the main plaza there.
Yeah, you didn't see her, but you did go past her shop a few times.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I'll just keep that in the back of my mind for the moment.
Well, I think we should... Well, let's...
Investigation is needed. We need to look around and see what the fuck's up.
Yeah, let's rest for the night. We can talk to our very cranky guide tomorrow and see if he has any more info. check out the forest, try and figure out what's going on, and go from there.
I mean, I like the idea we had a little while ago of talking to the snake.
Yeah, I
Or
think
like,
that's a
see
good
if
idea.
it's a chill dude or not. Like if we turn up and it doesn't immediately try to kill us, then
Oh, yeah,
we should
yeah,
like give
I
it a
agree.
carrot or something. Or I don't know what giant snakes eat. Then like as long as
Spiders,
it's friendly with us,
apparently.
I can like do the whole like as long as it's friendly with us and doesn't have an intelligence over I think 4. I can like mind meld with it.
Cool. Well, that's the game plan then. Find the snake.
The key thing is
Try
whether,
and
whether
befriend
it has
it.
an intelligence below 4.
Well, if it has an intelligence over 4, we might be able to talk to it normally.
Well, it's just whether or not it speaks a language we do.
Well, I doubt that if it's gonna have an intelligence over 4, it wouldn't be like all the way up. Wait, do any of us know? And Thorin like clicks his fingers trying to remember the language, but he's unable to place it because he has never spoken it or really even heard of it that much. He's like, it's the language the Fae speak.
Sylvan?
That's it.
I do not. Sorry.
Damn. If it was gonna speak a language, it would be Sylvan.
Also, just letting you guys know, I'm expecting 2 deliveries in the very near future, so if I suddenly disappear, that's why.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Everyone hears sort of like a cane drop down onto the porch with a metallic, with a wooden clank.
Turn my head.
Actually,
over.
I can hear a motorbike outside the front now. I'll be right back.
So you turn your head and you look at the source of the cane, and you know that it's fallen out of the hands of the old man, who is still sitting there.
Are you alright, sir?
He does not respond.
Does he look okay?
He has a smile on his face.
Can I inside check him? I'm
medic.
suddenly very creeped out. I see into his soul.
And you see that it has departed his body.
Oh shit! I fucking run over at light speed. Or can I do a medicine check to see what the fuck just happened to him? Wow, I'm rolling like a god.
You do a few of the basic procedural checks of a person. You know that he no longer has a pulse, and it seems that he has passed of old age.
Oh,
He was getting on a bit for this part of the world.
Right then and there.
one
Damn.
moment.
Did Jacob just like punch your hole? Like, hole in your door? Wow, that
Not-
came out weird.
He did not punch my hole. He did punch my door though.
Maybe I should be drinking a little bit less.
And then you sort of hear this old man, the middle-aged guy, sort of go, "Dad?" He walks over, shakes him a little bit. "Dad?" After seeing you checking him.
Yeah, he saw me like sit forwards, pause for a moment, and then run over at full speed and like put my hand on his throat to check his pulse and like check if he's breathing. So there's a very good chance that it's very telegraphed that something.
And he's just like, "Dad?" And after no response after 3 calls, he goes, Agron, come up the front." And the door swings open, Agron comes up, and he looks at the grandfather and just goes, "Oh, shit." And he throws his mug off into the distance.
I step back.
The son sort of, the middle-aged man sort of like kneels down next to his dad and places a hand on his thigh and just like taps it a few times fairly gently. And he just goes, You can see him trying to act very stoic and hold the tears in. And eventually he stands up and looks at Agron and says, "Listen, son, you're gonna have to go into the Trident and organize a burial for him." And Agron goes, "Alright, I can do that. I'll go now." And he goes,
Actually, hold on. Just a moment. Let me just consult my cleric spell database that I have in my brain.
I don't think you can vivify if they've died of natural causes.
No, but there is something else I can do. So